Welcome to If They Won't Listen, episode 23. We got a cool guest today, and why don't you go and introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Jake Tussell from Vancouver, Canada, singer of a band called Sleep Circle, cat dad to Oswald and Mr. Sparkle, romantic life partner to Erica, and that's it. That's me. That's me. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Pleasure. How you doing tonight, Topher?
Living the dream, brother. You know how it is.
That I do. That I do.
Enjoying this new age we live in.
I know. I looked at Brie earlier, and I was like, yeah. So when Stell's like 7, if we start saving now, we can swing Disneyland, and then you get to go, we all get to go, and then I commented and said, if COVID's not a thing, and she was like, COVID will be a thing. We're just still gonna go. You fucking got me. All right.
If COVID's still a thing, I hope at that point it's like, oh, you got a cold.
Well, based on the math, it would be at least COVID 25. So
here, we got to get to COVID 69. Let's be real.
See, it's turning into a Fallout game fast.
Right? It is. This is how the zombie apocalypse starts. They're one of these. Well, that's how it's gonna be. One of these vaccinations is gonna go horribly fucking wrong. They're not gonna do nearly enough testing on the right things and the right types of people. The people they give it to that actually might have the virus or be carrying it, it's gonna interact very badly, and they're gonna die, and then wake up, hungry for brains.
Like the real Resident Evil with Mila, whatever.
Jovovich.
Yes.
I said it.
Yeah, we're talking Umbrella Corporation level shit here.
Cancer. Everyone has cancer, so the whole world got the cure, and then the whole world turned into fuck.
Pretty much.
But yeah, no, it's unprecedented and crazy. But in the metaphysics world, in like the why are we alive, what is our purpose, all the anxiety we have, is it worth it, all those questions, and like the science that I focus on, this is great because like having more of a reason to be uncertain is the key to being certain. Once you're certain of uncertainty, you're comfortable. Like I'm comfortable with shit changing.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's the people who get comfortable in a box and then someone shakes the box and you're like, that was rude of you, Steven. And it's like, no, it wasn't. The whole world times.
For real, that's the whole chaotic neutral thing. I've always been that way. If there's not chaos going on, things ain't changing. All that's part of the reason I love my job so much. And Ricky understands this too. I love my job. Part of the reason I love it is the nature of it is so chaotic. And it's not like chaotic good or chaotic bad. It's right there, dead center. It's neutral. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. And that's why I'm kind of looking forward to this new job, because it's the opposite. It's complete categorical alpha, bedicalization, if that's a word. Like I'm constructing things that have only one way to be constructed, like it's a table, it's a chair, it's a bear, it's a carpet, whatever the fuck it is. I don't build animals, but but whatever.
That's entertaining.
It's gonna be.
I want to know.
I'm not worried about it at all. Like I'm great at following directions, and everything they're gonna teach me, they're gonna give me the tool, tell me how to do it, and then have me do it. And it's like I've never done the whole incentive pay thing before, but it's basically, if you work very shitty, you still make the company money. And it looks that way because they let people who do shitty jobs stay there. And like economically, that has to be the case. But if you do really good, in my world, the people who work hard, dude, you bank like a motherfucker, and it's like, okay, so we need 200 of X today. I did 250. So I got an extra, whatever, 50 cents for everyone I did, multiply that by 5 days a week and then overtime and all that. And it's like, holy crap, I'm not scraping off the bottom of the pile anymore, and it's also the first job I had where I have a trial period. It's like a 90-day thing. Not that I'm worried about that being a problem, but it's a matter of like 90 days at getting paid, and then you get your benefits and everything. And I mean, back when I worked with,
okay, like probation, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
trial's the wrong word. But yeah, like back with your job, when I worked with you, I had to work for your company for a year before I got the same thing I'm getting 90 days here. But the year I had to work for that, I wasn't considered a trial person. I was a full
No.
working towards said promotion that earned me that, but so it's a bunch of new things, I was telling Bree earlier, like my brain, it attacks itself. I don't get anxiety often, but when I do, it's like me questioning things that I know are unquestionable. Like I remember the whole interview for my job, the whole thing, front to back, the dude's face, the color of the notebooks he had in his shelf, his shoe, everything. But then my mind's like, what day of the week is it, Richard? You already missed it. And I'm like, no. And I look at my phone. I've checked my phone 1,000 times. And so, I'm confirming dates. And like, I don't know. It's like, my brain keeps acting like, you know what I mean? You got to get there. You got to get there. You got to get there. It was only 4 days I had to wait from interview until start. And it's felt like 1,000 years. Like I've been dragging like the Titanic on the way down. Like that's not good. But tomorrow morning. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna have zero hangover,
Yes,
and you're gonna crush that dab pen first thing in the morning, and
I am.
that's it.
I
You're
get
gonna do it live.
fueled up the tires. Did everything. It was 1 degree earlier. I only left to go gas up the car and fucking do the tires, and it was 1 degree outside, so my whole car was frozen over. It's a '07, so it's not like airtight. It's like the windows go up into a rubber seal. They're not locked, in a fixed airtight position. So condensation and moisture builds in there overnight, and then if it's freezing cold, all my windshields get iced from the inside, and I have to like literally warm the car up. So I just drove across the street to gas up and to get the tires done, but it took me 20 minutes to be able to see through the windshield safe enough that I wouldn't get pulled over in 15 feet or hit anyone. And then wait for the gas pump for 10 minutes, get gas, and then get air, and then come home. So it was a 45-minute affair to not even drive 100 feet. Living in, you must understand. You said you deal with snow, right? You're in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, on occasion, I think Vancouver's like it's a pretty chill climate. They forecasted 4 straight days of snow last week, and the best we got was like a little bit of hail. Um, but I mean, thankfully, like I work from home now, so it's I don't really have to leave this room. Like this is kind of where the magic happens, It's like work and play this week.
That's good. I'm looking forward to snow. I don't know. Tell me how you feel about this, Topher, because I don't bring up snow to people anymore because we live in the mountains and most of the people don't want snow. They lived here their whole life.
I love snow.
We haven't gotten enough this year. Like we got 2 feet
No.
Christmas and it disappeared in a week. Like it was literally gone before the New Year's. Gone.
Yeah.
And
The
we've got
problem is, I'm surprised we haven't had more emergency calls for water main breaks because we've had almost no snow. Most of it disappeared, and it's been so bitter cold, especially the last like week. It's nuts. I even posted a picture of it on Instagram. The chemicals that I have in the truck, the Simple Green and the Windex, froze solid.
dude,
Yeah, it was that cold for that long, but with no snow, I mean, that's part of the reason we need it is for the insulation factor. Otherwise, pipes freeze, you end up with all kinds of issues, more frost heaves. It's very, very not good is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to this and hoping we actually get more than they claim we are.
Totally. Interesting. Wow. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like every couple of years is like they call it a snowmageddon here. We'll get like 5 centimeters, or I'm Canadian. I'm identifying myself right now as Canadian, but maybe like a quarter inch or half an inch, and then the city just shuts down. It's like all the schools closed, and
weird,
and there's accidents all over the place. Like you'd think people would be prepared, but they never are.
yeah. I don't know. The last few times that we said we were supposed to get snow, like in the last few weeks, we didn't get it. My grandmother kept calling me like, we weren't supposed to get snow, but we're getting hammered. And I'm like, well, we're not getting shit.
Yeah, send some it this way, Graham.
You know, like I didn't want to pay for good snow tires, but I did. Give me snow. You know, I didn't want to have.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah. Otherwise, I think you should get a refund from like Goodyear or whatever. You know.
I completely agree. I got my tires from Yokohama, so I'm gonna call them Japanese guys.
Dude.
Like, hey, I didn't get no. Give me my.
Hell yeah! You know what? I mean, if you want to start a class action lawsuit, we got 3 people, so I feel like we can make it happen.
Yeah, just run them in a circle for a bit. There's a lot of this. I'm curious what countries I could take advantage of, and I mean that sincerely. So hear me out. I've came across this ad a few times online of people having this touchscreen bracelet on their wrist, like it's a wearable thing, and they tap it and boom, it projects on them, and they use it. And I researched the real tech, like technically.
Okay.
That tech exists. Like we can track pulses and heartbeats and sleep and all that shit through the wrist. But the whole being able to use your phone screen on your wrist comes down to it being able to send you moving in both directions. And if the lasers are only emitting from one band and not a square or 2 bands or, a top mounted projector, then when you touch, it's going to block all the rays beneath you. So it wouldn't have a good depth of left and right below you, if you were trying. So it wouldn't work theoretically as well. But this company's like $39.99. You buy this.
Buy now.
I'm gonna put the terms of service. I screenshotted them. I don't have them like ready, but I know they exist here. I'll find them in a second or two. But it's no bullshit. It's like a 5-minute read, all their terms of service, and the first one is worded so well you'd stop reading. Like, this is annoying, but second, third, fourth, and fifth are blatant in your face. All products are subject to change without notice. All products need not when you get them, like anything that you've seen in the ads. At all. Like allowed to tell you received a product that was inadequate because of the aforementioned. They nailed to the coffin in the terms of service.
It's your fault.
Yeah, no,
you're the one that bought it.
It was one of the scroll ones too. You had to open it, scroll, and click, and in your fucking face, they're like, "We're gonna take your money because you're American and you're stupid and you won't read it. $40 is not a federal crime. 99 plus is. No one's gonna care about you. We're gonna do it to tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of millions of you idiots, and no one's ever gonna know. $30, and we're giving you a discount. It's only $19.99. Like they blatantly fuck you in the face. Because it's a penny. It's like, wow. And like it doesn't blow me away people are scumbags. I expect scumbags, and I even commend the ones who are good enough to not get caught ever. You know what I mean? Like, I like White Collar, the TV show of the good crime people who don't get caught. Dexter. I'm not really for serial killing, but it's cool seeing someone who pulls it off and is kind of a nice guy, vigilante. Like, killing to me as a vigilante, not a bad thing. It's better than just killing for fuck's sake. I don't like you. Boom. I don't know you. Click, boom. Like, vigilante is kind of better than that.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess they kind of are doing something for moral good.
Yeah. The same thing as religions, How many wars started because God told me to?
Fuck, most of them.
Take them out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I don't know if you boys are religious, but personally, I think it should be illegal to indoctrinate your children before they have a reasonable cognitive ability. But I mean, teach their own, right?
No, and that's a big part of, I think, America working successfully is us all doing different things and being okay with it. But no, so I got it right here. Section 3: accuracy, completeness, timeliness. Apparently, we are not responsible if information made available on this site is not accurate, complete, or current. The material on this site is provided for general information only and should not be relied upon or used as sole basis for making decisions without consulting primary, more accurate, more complete, and more timely sources of information. In other words, if you don't read this, we are going to fuck you in the face.
I believe it was Tom Waits that said, "The large print giveth, and the small print taketh away."
Oh, true.
No, it's abs. So section 11, errors, inaccuracies, and omissions. Here we go. Just I'll stop at the first period. There's like 6 commas. Occasionally, there may be information on our site or in the service that may contain typographical errors, inaccuracies, or omissions that may relate to product descriptions, pricing, promotions, offers, product shipping charges, transit times, availability, accuracy, correction to errors, inaccuracies, or anything that may have to do with the thing said above. Like, that's the first sentence. That's the first period, and it continues. But, like, in other words, we're gonna fuck you in the face. Like, it's just it blew me away because I'm a terms of service reader. Here's the
Sensing a theme here.
I'm gonna email this picture to myself so I can show it on the screen, and I'll go through the picture with you guys. I've actually got 2 pictures, and I'll even email the TOS to myself too, and I'll pull that up on the screen. But a picture of this wristband that they're gonna sell to you for $20, and it's got names like microchip and microprocessor and accelerometer. And dude, they literally just Googled fancy tech words and copy and pasted 300 megapixel pictures down itty bitty, and then draw the line diagonally like it would look, and it looked professional. It did until I built computers. You're retarded. This is $20. Sell me 10,000, and I'm gonna be rich. I'll sell them all for $1 million a piece. Like that. That's unprecedented. It blew me away. Have you guys ever came in anything like that in your life? Like someone blatantly was just taking people and you couldn't do nothing?
Man, I feel like if that's kind of what happens in the music scene, man. It's like for a local band, there's only so much you can do to start off, and then you get in with the promoters. But in Vancouver, the promoters are all kind of like this little clique, you know. They all work for this one fucking Donnelly group, and they just love to take advantage of like 19-year-old kids who don't know any better. And yeah, it's a sham, man. I mean, not totally related, but kind of false advertising, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, it's the music industry is despicable. Like, it's not, you know, if anyone ever asked me, like, you know, I have a buddy who our old co-host wants to move to, you know, the furthest part of the west of, you know, our country, go to LA and be a big musician. And I don't disagree, the scene's the biggest out there, but pre-COVID, maybe that was plausible because it's what everyone wanted to do, but it's just like there's more than one way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same roadmap for every dude and every platform forever. And now with COVID, LA is exploding. No one's staying there. No one. Like, everyone's leaving. Everyone. There's not one smart person who still lives in LA who did 2 years ago. You know, it's just everyone's left. And I've never been there. And part of me was like, everyone else wants to go there, so I don't need to go there. Meh. And now it's just terrible. So now I just won't go. I'm okay with it.
That's right. I feel like, learning by other people's errors is the best way to go.
I don't know. What do you guys? You guys ever been to California?
Negative.
No, sir.
I've been to Seattle. That was a cool experience.
Where's geography is my Achilles heel. I'm fucking terrible. So like,
Washington, and it's north of California.
Okay, but like on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Wow. All right. Damn. What was the climate like? Was it the mountains to the left and hot burning fires to the right?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there.
It sounds fun. You know, I think it'd be really cool to go surfing, snowboarding, and bar hopping in the same night if you had some good buddies and endless funds. Like, that sounds.
Hell yeah.
I mean, have a plan. And what'd you do? I went pool hopping, surfing, snowboarding, and got wasted at a bar. Lost my ID. What up? You know, like, this sounds like a dope night. And I could never do that. It doesn't exist. You know, like, I just don't have the climate. But
no.
Not to say I want it either. You know, if Mother Nature happens to listen to this podcast, I don't want her to fuck us.
No, we think the weather's screwing now. Just wait till you piss her off.
Yep, it's all over. I ruined it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that fucking movie Moana. I know what'll happen.
But... Yo, I love that movie. Every time I look at a mountain, I'm like, that could be a person. I'm like, that see it. I see it.
I haven't seen it, but my theory, well, Jake hasn't heard my theory. My theory on Mother Nature, especially up here in Vermont, and I'm sure there's certain times of the year there too. There's nothing to do more often than not but drink and fuck.
Mhm.
So Mother Nature, the reason the weather's so screwy up here is because she's drunk and pregnant all the time.
She's like, if I'm miserable, then you're going to be too.
You know, we could be happy, it could be sunshine and 70, and the next day we get snow.
Oh,
Or sometimes that day, you know?
yeah.
So can you guys see this?
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
that I've came across literally 3 times now. This is the bracelet. It's like this is, it came up on. I'm like, ooh, look at this, buy 2, free shipping. Like it's just
1998.
telling me I like it. And now let me click right here. So I got
And they have 4 different colors.
accelerometer right here. Okay, the picture of that is just pasted right here. Memory card plus ROM. I don't know what ROM is, but RAM's a thing.
Read-only memory.
Okay, all right, so it's a thing. I'm out of the game. Process.
Whoa.
You built your computer and you didn't figure that out while you were doing that.
I'm only using the newest memory that exists. I have M.2, like little sticks of memory, so I don't have HDD or SDD.
No. ROM and RAM are not the same thing, sir. What you're talking about is random access memory. That's the memory sticks that we put on the hard drive that allow you to do everything you're doing. The ROM is something totally different. I don't even know if it exists in most modern computers when I think about it. It's been a long time since I put them together, but read-only memory is where like your BIOS and all that shit are, you know, all the stuff that actually makes it work, because the random access you can get into and change shit. The ROM, the read-only, not so much. It's kind of there to stay.
All right, yeah, no, I knew none of that. And thank you for the lesson. I probably would have never learned that otherwise. So processor.
A lot of shit in there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They squeezed it in. Like I'm zoomed in too.
Vibrator.
You got the right word, too.
There's a vibrator, micro USB. Okay, we're getting into it. Battery. Wow, what a just nice battery. Not lithium ion. Doesn't just, snap button. Okay, it's a button. Snaps how you close it. I'm with you. LED. Okay. Wi-Fi component. Okay. Bluetooth. Low energy. Oh, okay. Pico projector. The cool thing that's gonna make everything work on this on my wrist, and a proximity sensor, long range. Just it fucking hilarious. And then this is what I was reading to you guys. This is the accuracy, completeness, and timeliness. You know what I mean? May contain certain historical information, or historical information necessarily is not current and is provided for you for reference only. We reserve the right to modify the contents of this site at any time, but we have no obligation to update any information to our site. Yeah.
So basically, well, there could be anything in this box, but
yeah, open your mouth.
That's your fault. You bought it.
Bought it, and just like errors and accuracies I was reading. No.
The prohibited uses. What can't you do with this thing?
Yeah, no, and so like I'm starting to think, if I just copy these terms exactly, I can fuck people, right? Like, tell me, they're doing it every day. Like,
do it.
Ethical? No. But if you buy a product and you don't read TOS, who's the idiot? Me or someone who doesn't have $20? I'm not gonna act like I'll sleep poorly if I can buy my daughter a car at 16 and it was free.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for hard work, but if I can get the same thing with no work, you're gonna call me a cheater?
I never would. I feel like fools exist for being taken advantage of. So
I don't know. Like, give me your honest opinion, guys. Like, does that, like, to me, that blows me out of the water. Like that, like, and it still exists. It didn't go away. It's not gone. I see. That's like the 3rd time I've seen it.
It's crazy, man. I think people have just found these loopholes around any moral or legal obligation, and they exploit them. But I feel like, should we be mad at these people? No, we should be mad at the systems in place that allow these things to continue, But I mean, at the same time, if you want to make a buck quick, then I'm not going to knock it, right?
I'm curious what would happen if I went to a lawyer. If I did the reverse the reverse, the reverse grab. I go to a lawyer and say, look, I bought this bracelet, and I threw it away. I was pissed, but I'm curious. Do I have any legal grounds here? I show him the TOS, and he's like, nope, no legal grounds, completely inadmissible, doesn't work. You're wrong. And I'm okay. All I need to know: copy, paste. Can you meet me at my house, Notary of the Republic? Thank you. I'm not about like a cheating access button. Like I don't want to hurt other people, but when it comes to like another country fucking my country, well, I might want to fuck your country. That's all I'm saying. Like
whole country.
You like I can't target any one person, so I'm gonna do the black sheep thing. I hate all of you because of Steven or Raham, whatever his name is. I don't know, but dude, I had a guy last night in Discord tell me I'm not racist. I hate everybody equally. Oh, motherfucker. I used to say that when I was 17. You know how ignorant you are?
Yeah. Fuck.
It's
Shit,
like,
I say that now.
that's what I'm saying. I love you, but it's just not like when you're trying to really get down to brass tacks. If two people are different and there's a real cause as to why we need to notify that, I'm for it. Like I'm a Call of Duty player. I care about statistics. You show me you have the equivalency and we'll play ball. It's the same thing with major sports. Like if you're not a pro player, you won't be in the pro league. There's semi-pro and amateur and college. Like there's leagues for a reason. Skill is not open to everyone. It is, but with determination and talent and willpower, and those last three things aren't just given to people. Like they're awoken in some and they're dead in others, and we don't know why, and maybe we never will, but
I think it's life experience.
It's
at least in part of it, I think certain situations can make you a more critical person, and unfortunately there's a lot of people who maybe live their lives exactly like their parents want them to, and never really develop the skills to see things the way they truly are.
I'm jealous of your hair, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Dad. By the way, that's my that's the first dad that's come out, but that's my thing. I just call everyone Dad. It's cool. It's like dude, but it's like Dad.
Not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm younger than you, so
No.
kind of like calling a fat guy slim. But no, my dad had the same thing growing up. Like he used to call, but back when I was born in '94, and so ever since I was cognizant enough to remember social interactions with my dad, third party, like probably like 10, I don't know, so 2005 ish. He called everyone sunshine in a nice way. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning. Like, and obviously only females. My dad's extremely homophobic, but
Oh yeah.
Still it was cool. And then one day it was like, that's weird. Don't call me that, sir. And it just woke up like it was a thing. Like that's not appropriate anymore. Please don't do that. You're hurting my emotions. And it's like, well, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. It's just what I call people. I like the sun, bro. Like I don't know.
Well, I feel like that's a pretty like non-gendered term. Like it doesn't seem sexual at all. I feel like I like if I jumped onto this podcast and I said good morning, sunshine, even though it's like, I don't know, 5:30 in the afternoon here, it wouldn't have been weird. But I feel like the problem is when you're like, hey baby, or you like walk in and slap someone's ass or something. But I feel like that's totally dying with you. I think you're born in '94. I was born in '90s, so we're both millennials.
Yeah.
But I feel like with that, it's not really something that happens between people between people in our age group. It's more. I feel like the sexual harassment that's going on is like the fucking boomers, like the old boys club that they've been around for whatever. And for the first 20 years of the company, the only women that worked there were like secretaries, like their jobs were like answer the phone and get lunch and shit. But now the world's changed.
Yeah. No, it's rapidly changing. I told a kid last night, he was like, I brought up space travel and how we've got multiple companies, one working on Mars, one working on space tours just out of the atmosphere in between the moon and us and back, and one talking about a hotel on the moon and all this stuff. And some dude was like, that'll never happen in our lifetime. And I'm like, bro, like, do you understand the lineage of where you stand with the mouth that you're speaking out of stupidly? I don't think you, hey, like, the Industrial Revolution wasn't even, it was less than 100 years ago. Like it was less than almost 50 or 70. Like it's less than half a century or, 3/4 of a century. It's not a lot. Like it's taken us, I don't know, a millennia or at least half of one to develop our backs and our brains and our everything that we use today, our third eye, our ability to think like and contemplate existence, time and space and reality. So far that we know the only thing on the planet that can have understanding of like the three parts of the dimension we live in. But it's super fucking weird with the way that everything has to be interpreted. You know what I mean? Like I'm running out of stuff to, understand things with. It's a good thing I'm used to change. Like it's just, I think there's a lot that we can do. I lost my train of thought. I'm back on. Sorry. Anyways, everything we've done has been in not a lot of years, it's taken hundreds of thousands of years to build our body. We went to space in less than 75. Like 75 years ago, people were like, oh, you're crazy. And now we're like, I'll go to the moon, I'll take a piss and I'll come back. You want to have coffee? Like it's not.
Oh, let me just fucking launch this Tesla into space. Like,
yeah, Elon shooting rockets every Tuesday. Every time I go on Twitter, it's like Elon fires another rocket. Everyone expected it to blow up. It didn't. And it's like, well, fuck, I would have stood and watched it if I was in Florida or NASA or wherever the fuck this happens. Texas.
I feel like I would. I'm all for like advancing humankind, but also like catastrophic failure is very amusing.
I've loved every post-apocalyptic video game I played, and I'm mildly prepared. I'm not hoarders level, but I know every neighbor around me who's got guns. And I just abs, I know who are close to the end of their clock, and if the whole world tipped upside down, mankind might be better off. But this is so the world's so fucked up. I'm a super fucked up person, but I still meet people every day who are like, oh, Christopher runs into him every day because he has a super public job and he runs into people inadvertently, and it's like he works construction in the road, so he ends up following somebody down some driveway and he gets in a conversation. I've seen people in stores who I know who I've sorry, phlegm caught me. I've seen people in stores who I know and like have no idea who they are. You know what I mean? Like I met them at work, focused on something else 100%, like do. Oh yeah, thank you. No, 100%. No, thank you. Thank you for the water. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, and then I forgot the whole interaction. And so I'll be sitting at a store and I'll be like, I know that person. Oh my God. Like I would trade my life. I know that person, but I have no fucking idea who that person, the memory doesn't exist. And it just,
thankfully I don't work anywhere near home. That doesn't happen. I'm usually an hour and a half, 2 hours away from home every day. So, and it's usually, I'll be in one place for a while. And like every once in a while, if there's a local store or whatever, I'll run into somebody there, happen to see a vehicle that I recognize, something like that. But otherwise, nope. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Because more often than not, by the end of the day, I have wanted at least once to swing my paddle around like a battle axe and lodge in somebody's windshield. Because you never realize, and it's weird because people get road rage. Road rage is a common thing, and we use the term pretty liberally at this point. But you don't understand until you see every vehicle go by, and you're standing in the road. In the middle of the road, sometimes the only thing really between this 2-ton bullet hurtling at you and your client who you're there to protect all day long. When we're driving a car, we see the people like immediately in front of and maybe behind us in the rear view if they're doing something stupid to get our attention. And the people passing, we just see them as they're passing, and that's it. I see every single one as they go by, sometimes multiple times a day, because some of them are just fucking cruising back and forth at this point. They're trolling for what? I'm not sure. Don't know that I want to know. And Ricky knows what I'm talking about. He understands you don't understand road rage until you see the way people drive when you're standing still. It's really not good. For some reason, they think this orange side of the paddle that says big orange, big black letters that says slow. And
Sweet.
here's another thing. You, for starters, you would think that was just a big green light,
Yeah.
because that's how they treat it more often than not. But you'd be surprised how many people can't read 4-letter words that start with S. There's only 2 of them. You don't really have to pay attention to any others. It's a stop and slow. How hard is that?
I was thinking the other one would have been shit, but
That one they understand, because I've heard it more than once, along with a few other more colorful expletives tossed in my direction. One of the guys that trained me told me first thing, for the 2 things he told me right out the gate were, 1, keep your head on a swivel at all times. Number 2, if you haven't pissed off at least 3 people during the course of the day, you have not done your job. People are going to get mad at you just for being there every day. Doesn't matter what you do something wrong or not, stop them or not, doesn't matter. They're just mad because you are there. You're an inconvenience to them. Not so much of an inconvenience, when their power goes out or they lose their internet and start crying.
oh, then you're the hero. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're stringing up new shit. So in 6 months or whenever that particular company gets around to activating it, getting all the splicing done. Oh, look, you have fiber optic now. Aren't you happy? Yeah, I love it. Blah, 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 blah. But, still goddamn flaggers in my fucking way, man. I'm trying to get to, no. I had somebody lay me out on his hood a couple of weeks ago because he just decided he was going whether I told him he could or not. He decided he was going through me.
What the fuck?
Yeah. People are just that fucking dumb. It's not dumb either. It is to a point, but I've learned that after thinking about it, it's selfish. More than anything else, it's just straight up selfishness. Nobody gives a fuck about anybody but themselves. The 30 seconds that max that it would take you to sit there for a few seconds and then go slow through my work zone, so you don't, because shit happens. You could drive a car off the lot for real and get 15-20 miles down the road and something break catastrophically. Odds aren't very good, but we all know it can happen. Now you get anything in between, old as fuck, barely running, and brand new, and then you factor in weather and road conditions, and you never know what. There's another thing: people tend to drive faster or worse in the rain and snow than they do on dry roads. Go figure. How stupid is that?
Yeah, I don't understand, man. It's crazy watching people driving, like people cutting each other off and speeding and shit. And it's just like, at the end of the day, how much time are you really saving?
Yeah. No, I love it when someone passes you, and I hate it when I pass someone and then fucking 20 minutes later, because like we live in a state where it's like, we're like the Nautical Express. You're either going north, south, east, or west. There's the fuck else where you go, because it's not so many mountains. There's only so many roads. You're either off car or in car. And
there are a couple of crossbars that will connect from one to the other, but usually more often than not, it's like Brandon Gap or Bethel Mountain. You're literally going over a mountain. And sometimes of the year it's not passable.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And you end up seeing a lot of the same people, and you'll pass someone, and then you'll both be going the same place for 45 minutes, and then they're bumper with you, and it's like, oh, so me doing 80 past him saved me no time because we're in the same spot now. It's like, okay. I've learned to calm down my passing, especially when I know there's lights. Like if I know there's no lights in front of me and a pass is the difference between 30 for the next 50 miles or 55 for the next, X amount.
Oh yeah, then it's worth it. But
when you're just pissed around someone and you think about like, will I save time? It's like, okay, I'll save the minute and I'll just turn the radio up, But no, it's definitely, I don't envy you, brother. Like I will never do that again. Not my worst day. I'll break my ankle and call the police and say I can't stand. I need an ambulance, and then I can't work, and now I need help. I need someone to wipe my bum. Like I'll do it. Don't I'm not getting back in the road like you. You ain't catching me.
And it's weird because even on the days when I want to hurt people, I love my job.
Yeah, but
I
see, so
do, and I get pretty decent pay too. So for Vermont, I'm making pretty decent money.
no, and I'm with you there. It's just it's the equation on my body. I mean, you're older than me, so either you're much stronger than me, or I'm a bigger vagina than you. It's one of them, probably the second one. But that's it was hard as fuck on my body. You can't put a price on my 2 knees and shoulders. Like medicine's getting good, but it costs a lot to get them swapped out, and I ain't got that saved. You know, that was just the equation. I didn't choose to leave. I didn't get fired and I didn't quit. It was a dumb fucking scenario. Circumstances really all it was. But
No, I know. I know.
no, I was saying for the other folks. I know you know. But no, so I'm the type of guy, if I have to do a job and if I'm at a job, I'm going to love the job. And I didn't hate the job when I did it. I got promoted multiple times and I ascended through the ranks and, you were the one who taught me and it was fun and I enjoyed it. Like there was days where I got to just fucking play games all day and days where I got to work hard for weeks on the end with no break. And, bad weather for me didn't mean home. It meant standing in it, and so like it was a different world. And I learned stuff about, how road construction is done, how the power company works, the cable company, people who work on stuff under the road that we drive on every day. I learned how the ins and outs of all that in 19 months. Not how to do it, but conceptually, if something my daughter ever asked, how does that light work over there, but there's no, power? It's like, oh, well, there's a pipe under the road and it's probably the gas station. It's like stuff like that I would have never put together. I could have, but I didn't know, you know what I mean? So I'm happy with the knowledge, but after getting out of it, I wouldn't go back. What do you do for work, Jake, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, I've so sales predominantly. I sell industrial machinery, pumps and seals specifically. Dealing a lot with the oil sands. I mean, I feel like pipelines are a hot topic right now. Canada's pretty pissed at Uncle Joe, but I mean, to be fair, it was canceled when Obama was in power, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, so but in short form, I sit here all day in front of my computer and take the emails and phone calls and make sales, and yeah.
Nice. That sounds pretty cool. I have like an opposite mindset for work, and I know I have it now. So like when I work outside, the inside of my brain's like, I like working outside, but I like working inside more. And then every time I've worked inside, I was like, I could like inside, but I like outside more. And so I've now accepted that no matter where I go, if I'm hot, I want cold, and if I'm cold, I want hot.
Grass is always greener.
It's
Just
just
can't make you happy,
Yeah.
can we?
no, it's just always like cake. I want to eat it too, and then I want to do it twice, And so I got to be real about that. And so it's like this next job has everything I need. You know what I mean? To support my family. Like if it was just me, I could get paid less and eat ramen. I can accept that equation. This computer was a one-time expense. Like besides the internet and the power, it realistically is just like it's mine. It's here. I can use it. And so like I like things like that. You buy a little action figure. From playing with it with Legos to shoving it up my butt. It's mine. I own it. I can do what I want. And it's like I like the materialism in that. You know.
Yeah, it's cool to own things and collect things, and especially things that appreciate and value. Like I see your little Funko Pops there. I know they could be worth quite a pretty penny. My thing these days is record collecting. I feel like every extra dollar that I have now goes to buying records, and yeah, it's good though. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty involved way to listen to music. It's intentional. Um, Rather than like, you get up in the morning, you're like on your commute, you put on Spotify or whatever, you randomize that shit. It's like this is like it's an experience from like start to finish.
I get in the truck, I plug my phone in. That's most of what I use the space on there for. Well, there's a lot of videos and pictures on it now too, but I've got a lot of music and I keep putting more on it all the time. It's the reason I got a bigger phone. I like the iPhones because it's got the built-in memory. I don't have to worry about a card. And I got 256, so
Oh yeah, brother.
No, hell yeah. I'm gonna hold this. I think I might hold my iPhone 10 till the iPhone 20. You know, it's not hurting me at all. Like I have plenty of games that I like. It's fun. It's like, it's big. Like it's not a rinky dinky fun. I mean, it's like, it's appropriate size, but it comes down to function. It calls it tech.
Dude, and the 10 has such a great camera. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy with it. I mean, when people are like, "Oh, the 11 and the 12," yeah, like that.
The 11 Pro.
To say that's better than this with a realistic amount that a non-professional photographer would care about is ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if my game loads up in a 16th of a second faster, or if I can play on a screen that's this much bigger. No, I think it's cool if anyone wants those things. I just personally have no use. Like I paid $700 to get off my phone contract and buy this myself, and then get on like the prepaid cards. And so now
Yeah.
I own this device, and I talk to no one but a robot for my phone bill. I really like it.
Yeah.
No one surprises me. I'm never like, "Oh, why is my bill up?" Like they used to fuck me on my bill all the time. It would go up $20 and they'd be like, "Oh, tax." Fuck you mean tax? Anyone this month? I was lonely. Like, fuck you. Like, tax me. And I had Sprint in the city, and then I moved to the mountains. And in the mountains, no bueno. Look at this man rocking a steamroller over here, or it's an
Nice.
that's a bong. I'm wrong. Steamroller.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Talking about a fucking nasty way to get high. Whew. Used to cut.
Bong?
Not steamrollers. You ever smoked a steamroller?
No,
You
enlighten
ever
me.
smoked a real steamroller?
So I would take a PVC pipe living on a farm and drill a hole in the top of it, and then put a slide of a bong in the top of it, and then I would put one end on my mouth and my hand on the other end, like I was playing an Indian instrument, and then light the top of it and just let my hand go, and it's a straight shot to your mouth, ash and all, no filter,
No water?
not just
Yeah,
Holy
it works a
shit.
whole lot better if you have a screened bowl.
Yeah.
that's debatable. I like the ash, coats my tongue.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can say I have never smoked out of a PVC pipe. I remember making like, you take like some tape and a Ziploc and like a water bottle that you cut in half and like make a third lung. I remember that was like an early way to smoke for me, but yeah, never PVC pipe. But you know what? First time for everything. Let's go to Home Depot.
Professional steamrollers that are glass and metal, but
those are nice.
I didn't own one, and I didn't have a bowl, but I was in a bedroom, and I was like, drill, pipe, weed, broken bong, I got it all. That's it was that same night I learned how gravity and fire worked, because I was super. I was a coat hanger above me, and I lit a lighter on the coat hanger and was just watching it start to melt, and then it melted. And gravity took effect, and it landed on my finger. And for the rest of my life, I'll have this circle scar from melting rubber off a plastic coat hanger that I was just sitting there melting. But like,
it's so good.
Like, good times in that attic. Good times. I lived with my buddy on a farm. It was fucking funny. It was, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I mean it's cool. I think I have a scar like underneath my my stomach that came from when I was in like grade 8, and I decided it'd be a cool idea to put a sparkler in my belt. Like one of those like one of those dumb fucking things you light, and like I'm sure it looks really cool, but yeah, now I got a little scar for life.
A funny scar I have was my buddy had a training bow and arrow, and the really sharp like jagged knife arrows that you'd use to shoot a deer with. And so I was like, nah, I don't really want to get hit with a one that would kill a deer. That'd probably kill me too. But why don't you grab your arrow, your training bow? We'll go in the backyard. You're gonna shoot an arrow straight up, and I'm gonna catch it with a recycling bin. Check this out. We commenced, and we went outside, and the second he walks out the door, I'm holding the recycling bin, and I'm sprinting down the hill to the backyard, and he just goes, "Whoop." And I look up, and I'm kicking it like a football. I got this motherfucker. And I just put the bin up, And I look up and it's like right above my head, like I swear like 30 feet or something, but like nose, and the bin's in front of me. And so I'm aware of how big this bin is, and if you try to pull it, it's like a parachute because it doesn't have holes in the bottom, so it drags. And so I made the decision I couldn't get the bin over my head fast enough, so I just went supine, and I jumped to my stomach like I was on ice and it was cracking, and the arrow hit me straight on the center of the spine, the back, and cut me like 3 inches. And we ran.
Holy shit.
Bloody back, me crying, John with a bow and an arrow. His mom like, what were you doing? And you can imagine how she slapped us both before she patched me up. But
fuck.
It's really funny, and I don't regret it. It was dope. It's mine to get my ass out of the way and take an injury on the back, as opposed to literally to this day, I might be like, I am not Indian, but this is from a bad day, and so I'm happy that didn't happen. I could have lost an eye, this could have went straight to my temple and my brain. Like, I mean, I swear he shot that thing fucking 100 feet in the air, boom, and then climax tight, turned around and fell straight.
So what you're saying is you didn't have any common sense then either.
I think that was executed well. If I had caught out of myself, and I was close, I retained that. I like, how close you have to be to catch the arrow without hands. I question.
Really? Well, the problem you were having wasn't just the trajectory of the arrow, it was the fact that it was still coming towards you as it was dropping.
Oh yeah, well that was the fun. It wouldn't have been fun if he tossed it to me without the bow.
Just arrow toss.
The one time we were driving around in my buddy's car, his dad owned a gravel pit, and I was like, I've never jumped out of a moving car. And the few times we jumped off the top of the sand structure that crunched the rock and made sand, we jumped off the top, fell 20 or 30 feet, hit the sand pile, and rolled down it. And I'm not gonna lie, hitting soft sand just crunched. Like, you were dusty, but you were not hurt. You were a little sandpapery, like, but it wasn't pavement. It was just sand. So it totally worth it. Super fun, drunk, not regrettable the next day, besides soreness and some Advil. So the peace of mind, and I was like, oh well, if I hit it like I'm skipping a rock, probably won't get hurt. So I had him take the car like 60 and crack the e-brake and then gas it so he didn't, tank it or anything. And I jumped out the passenger window into the pile. And it was like, I thought I was going to skip-a-roo off the side of it, edge of it, on the backside, and land on the ground, probably receive an injury. I just, like a fucking peacock's head in the sand. You know what I mean? It's fucking boop. I stuck instantly, dude. No,
thinking about an ostrich.
That's the one, the big bird with the face.
Yeah.
No, that was not one of my best memories, but I used to climb out of the driver's side window too, the passenger side. The passenger window into the back seat of a moving car, and it's really not hard. Like, I'm 6'3", so I have a 6-foot wingspan. The shit handle was like 3 feet. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about it, it's not magical. You grab one handle, you rely on that with all your weight, and then you grab the other one, you climb in the window. I did it hundreds of times, was never a problem. But one time I did it with a new person driving, this girl I was dating, and she was focused on watching me, not the road. And when I up transferring out of the car, I see the speed limit sign and I'm about to get scraped off on. Behind us, and she jerked the car, and I held both those shit handles and held on, and nothing happened. But I looked at that 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, and I was like, like the dude who's on top of the train right before it goes in the tunnel. You know what I mean? He's like, and there's just so many funny moments like that in my life where, like, I've almost been mauled and maimed more times than I've ever been mauled or maimed.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's what life's about, man. Just like try not to die and have some sick stories to tell, right?
Yeah. No, I have so many stupid stories. Like, I don't ever need to do something stupid again. People ask me, like, right when I was 23-ish, I'm 26 now, but when I was like 23, people were like, you want to come to a party? And I was like, nah. I've done 6 years of parties. No parties, no more. I'll drink at home alone in my bed.
So much. It's nice once you get to that point too, because I feel like for the longest time I was like, every weekend we're gonna go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday even, and but now it's really nice to just like get loaded at home. It's way cheaper.
Oh yeah, incredibly. You know what I mean? Um, no, I think I mean, COVID is a billion negatives, but it's definitely changed the way that we're all allowed to work at home. And maybe in 5 or 10 years, if this shit pretend it ends and, or whatever, if it were to start again, no one would be surprised that everyone would be able to switch back to working from home. Like, this had never happened before. So when everyone was
Mhm.
like, oh, none of these businesses can survive at home, they had a reason to say that. We had no proof. But like now we're 12 months in feasibly, the first year of the worst year of everyone who's been alive to this date is pretty much, like it's not terrorism some people think it is, and it very well might be to some degree, but it's not looked at that way. So it's just a disease and we're fighting it. But every day waking up and hearing the news, like I'm just sick of fear mongering. You know what I mean? Like when I play Fallout, I expect the people on the radio to be like, a nuke 75 people have died and 42 of your best friends are now zombies. I expect it. But when I don't watch the news, but back when I used to kind of rely on it every day, it was like, oh, well, 1 billion people have died. And it was like, oh, okay, well, anything else? Like,
Yeah, I feel like you just get so desensitized to it after a while that like, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure your guys' news, Fox News, and all that is designed to push an agenda the same way the CBC in Canada is. It's um, kind of in Justin Trudeau's back pocket, and they'll say what they have to say to keep people inside and wearing masks and not hanging out with their neighbors. And
yeah, that Justin Trudeau's a funny guy, man. Mr. Black.
yeah,
He wore blackface at a party once. That's
it's incredible that he wasn't just canceled after that,
yeah,
for the amount of times that you see people where like, oh, they dig up a tweet from like 10 years ago or whatever where they said a racial expletive or something, but there's photo evidence of the leader of our country dressed up like an Indian man, and they just said, oh, sorry, and then everything's the slate's wiped clean. It's unfortunate that it's that sort of justice doesn't always swing both ways.
yeah. No, the doors. It's gonna be a long time before every door that opens swings equivalently shut. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
ever, it's. Uh, I like the idea of unifying, but you can't make everybody listen to the same music. I mean, I think Queen
Yeah.
Pop from the Trolls movies have taught us that, if anything. But and that's a funny reference. My daughter loves those movies. Anyway, we'll laugh their ass off or think I'm an idiot. I'm okay with both. Both are applicable. Um, but yeah, no, the world's crazy, and I'm just trying to like it simplified my life like a little bit, just a little bit. Like I'm on top of the mask game, and I forget to bring bags everywhere because now we don't give out bags anymore, and so like that's a thing. And like I lift up my shirt. I need to wear a mask and a shirt, but you don't tell me how completely I need to wear my shirt. You just tell me
I
how.
mean, I feel like if you got your shirt over your face and then you could probably like gather some things in your shirt too. Like you could have a mask and a basket all in one.
My mask on, but like after I check out, I'm leaving the basket. I had the handheld, so I leave it, put it on the tray, and then I'll pay for a bag typically. But if it's like, just a few things, I'll just fucking lift my shirt and go half kangaroo and eat the shit.
We're gonna market that shit. Call it a masket.
Damn. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's crazy. It's it's either gonna go away or it's not. I'm not getting the vaccination, fucking ever, and I'm not putting in my daughter ever. So that's chill.
But that's the thing. I mean, I think that the vaccines are like a big topic of debate. But so what happens, like, say the vaccine, it's not compulsory, but it starts to, like, say you need to put your daughter in school or whatever, and like you have to have proof of a vaccination record. Like, how do you go around that?
Homeschool them.
On Elon, if the path in the snow in front of me that's cleared can't be walked on, I'll make a new one. It's
I like it.
no, it's not about you know how, it's about when. You know what I mean? Like she's my kid, you know, and I'm not the guy who's going to be like, oh, well, she could be the 1% of people who get a deficit. But it's like, we have all different sorts of countries releasing these. All different sorts of countries are saying their shit's the best. All sorts of different symptoms are coming out that are really hurting people. And on top of that, like, no one company has made a one vaccine that does it at all. Like, there's some you have to get 4 fucking times. Guess what, folks? Each one can have its own side effects. Like, a standalone, you could get an itch from one and a scratch from another, and it's something.
Totally.
I haven't actually done the research or heard anything about it myself directly. It's all hearsay because my ex-wife, being a pharmacy tech, she's up on all of this and actually had to get the vaccination herself for work because she likes to make money, and it was a 2-shotter. But supposedly Johnson & Johnson is like getting ready to release one that's only a 1-shot deal. 1 shot, 1 kill, you're dead. And well, hopefully you're not dead.
Well, yeah.
And you don't have to do it anymore. If there is anything bad happens with it, bad side effects, you might be, but whatever.
But that's good. I feel like, yeah, there's been that's a topic of debate here is British Columbia only got so many doses, so they're going to administer the first dose of vaccination, but then push the second for 37 days or something instead of the 28 as recommended for the second dose by Pfizer. So they're like, is this still effective? Is that going to be a thing? I mean, I don't have that much experience in epidemiology or virology, so I can't say what's true or not, but it's a point of debate for sure.
No, and one of the big problems too, I mean, some of the ones that have came out in the US, like one of them needs to be kept at like fucking -200. So like some states don't even have the facility for that. So like until they build it, they couldn't get a shipment because it would go bad, waste of time. So they just won't even think about it. So that's a problem. And furthermore, like it's not really the side effects that I'm super worried about. It just comes to, this is the first ever vaccine of its kind. Every other vaccine we've ever done, we take a piece of the bad thing, we give it to you, your body takes the bad thing, and your immune system, in simple terms, has 2 skills. One skill fights all things equally, and one skill in the background learns how to effectively, permanently kill the things that are being nullified with the regular mitigating agent. And so, like, no matter what comes in your body, it attacks it, and like, so people who are allergic to dust, that's actually a problem with how your immune system recognizes something it needs to attack. The people who are not allergic to dust and who would sneeze if it got blown in their face, but otherwise don't have a super bad problem with it, they're normal. And people who are crazy allergic to dust, like walk in a room with it and instantly achoo, their body, their immune system is attacking the dust because it sees it as a foreign agent that hurts them. It's incorrectly viewing something as an enemy when it's not. It's just something that will get filtered through naturally. And so that's how dust works. But in the sense of this vaccine, they're not giving you a piece of COVID. They're giving you a piece of that smart part of your immune system that can then create a better part. And hopefully this smart part creates a part that outdoes the COVID. And like that, it is supposedly effective to what they're saying, but it still comes down to, I don't like anything that's the first of its fucking kind. The first of its kind. So like this, we're just going to act like your side effects are not accurate. Like first of its kind, like every person varies on a multitude of levels, blood type, hair color, fucking, everything is different about every human. You know what I mean? All our genetic codes don't match, basically.
Why do some people seem to be immune to COVID in the first place, but they can carry it?
Right.
And other people, I think a lot of it has to do with vulnerability based on whether it be genetic differences or predisposed to certain conditions or possessing certain medical conditions. Like, I mean, if you have lung issues in the first place, COVID's not going to go well for you. I got somebody I'm really close to. Doctor told them, you're on a timer. If you get COVID, you'll probably be dead before you even show any symptoms. And just because there's that type of issue there. So it's some scary, scary shit. But people that are perfectly healthy and don't have any major health issues like that, it doesn't seem to be affecting much, if at all. You might get sick. It's like we got the flu. And, chances are, if I got it, that's exactly what it would be. It would be the flu, and that's it. If I even showed any symptoms, I might be one of those that's just a carrier because my immune system just appears to be that strong.
Yeah, and the other thing too was the whole like the second strain that's come out. There's been I've heard second strains in the first few months of this happening, so maybe there's dozens, but at least the one that just hit Brazil not too long ago was really fucking them up. Like it's not as deadly, but it's like on a multitude of a factor of like 1, 2, or 3 more transmissible. So something that's significantly less deadly but passes around 3 times as fast is actually worse than something that kills more people, because it's not going to kill, like, Topher just said, the healthy people or the people who are moderately okay. But every person who has a 1% mortality rate with this, no matter whether they get this strain or the new strain, they're gone, basically. And so in the equation where it becomes more transmissible, more people die. And it doesn't matter how many stronger people there are. There's always old people in society. Age isn't curable yet. We're not fucking lobsters. Like, well, maybe someday, but today we're going to die.
Well, I've been saying for years, viruses, diseases, things like that are proof of evolution. I mean, I'm sorry, you can subscribe to whatever religious beliefs you want to. Viruses themselves are proof of evolution if you don't believe it through any other way, because every year they have to make a new strain, a new flu virus vaccine, because there's new strains of the flu, and who knows how many mutations there have been. But it's just like everything else. It wants to live. It's all about survival. Oh shit, you found a way to kill me? I got that.
Yeah, they're saying
we have a new version of it.
They're saying that's a big problem with global warming, because there's types of funguses that have never affected certain climates and certain humans ever, because they've lied dormant, and frankly they've been isolated to certain climates that we weren't too fond of, and they were only in small areas, and the areas they were, people knew. But now with the average temperature rising, some of these viruses, and not viruses but fungi, have been mutating and been able to survive the thing that used to kill them. And so if someone used to have a problem, you hit it with the solution, gone. Now it's strong enough, you hit it with the solution, and it's like, nah, I'm chill and I'll stay, and it's like, oh, okay, so the cure I had is not a cure anymore. It's a new, and it's interesting to think that like something that I walk around the moss and the trees every day is no problem to me, because it's too dormant in some way, in some, moderate way, that it just doesn't hurt me. Like a daddy longlegs being super venomous, but it not being able to hurt us due to size. And so it's like, okay, so I get that. And so if there's funguses that are fine if it's this temperature today, but if it's 10 degrees colder or hotter, shit that you can't see that kills you or fucks with you is fucking, it's messy, It's hard to fight what you can't see. But yeah, if anyone has anything else they want to touch on before we plug and say goodbye.
Well, I was going to say, I want to derail this for just a minute, because we've had Jake on here and we haven't really, he hasn't really had much opportunity to talk. We kind of been dominating.
I feel like I jumped in where I needed to, but
cool. Well, I actually want to hear more about your music, because you're a musician and I'm big on that. I've met a whole lot of on Instagram. I've got a lot of followers. I've been talking back and forth with different artists. So, as well as we can in the age of COVID and on social media, I've met quite a few artists and musicians recently, got, talking to and listening to new bands and rappers and metal bands and whatever else. So I actually do want to hear more about your music before we cut out here.
Yeah, so we're I front a band called Sleep Circle in Vancouver here. We're I guess best described as heavy rock. Very inspired by Alice in Chains.
Nice. The Seattle grunge stuff movement.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think there's a lot of pop sensibility in the band as well. Everybody except me is a classically trained musician. which I think makes for a really interesting dynamic because they're all like, "Oh yeah, all right, theory and all this shit." I'm just like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but you know, I'm just gonna play till it sounds good. And I think there's a really, really unique and cool balance that we've created because of those factors. So yeah, I mean, we released an EP called Strange Life, March 13th, 2020. It was interesting because we had a release show, and then the next day the world shut down. Like we were supposed to, like we like all had time off. We're like, all right, we're gonna go on tour, we're gonna do our thing, and then nope. So yeah, I mean, despite that, I think we've worked as hard as we can. I think in a way it's a good thing that the world shut down because it really forced us to sit down and write and be more introspective and come up with I truly believe that the new record that we've created would not be the same if we didn't have the downtime to actually put the time and effort into it that it needed to be what it is.
I've seen a lot of that with a lot of the bands and whatever I've been following on Instagram. A lot of them, you know, it's COVID. A lot of them, this is what they did. This was their job, you know, before all this happened, and now they don't do anything. Like I've gotten really heavy recently into underground rap, so I listen to like Twisted and Blaze, ICP, all that.
Yeah.
And they've been doing live shows online, you know, and the first one, the very first one, NetFest on Your Couch, was free. They just televised it live, and
dope.
There you go. It was awesome. The next one, it was, I don't even remember, it was like 20 or $25 for the ticket, whatever, for a digital ticket, but it was the whole MNE, the whole Magic Ninja Entertainment roster, you know, Twisted, Blaze, A&B was kind of there, Boondocks was there. It's like everybody on the label, which was
Very
awesome.
cool.
And now they're doing in February for the Fam Fridays, every Friday night at 8:00 Eastern time, they're running one show, one artist. The first one, I think this next Friday, is Blazy Dead Homie, and then it's, I think, the Horror is next week, and then ABK, and then Twisted is, you know, the last.
Very cool.
Oh no, it's AXE is the last week of the month. I'm sure Twisted will be doing something because they're supposed to be releasing other albums soon, so I'm sure we'll see something from them right after that drops. But
that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to see how this new avenue for monetization and performance has opened up because of COVID. And I don't know, I feel like I just read something about the UK where they're now charging like a $500 fee for venues that are hosting live streamed events. Like they're just trying to make a cut off that, which I think is bullshit, you know, but typical government, right?
Yeah, no, it's opened a lot of opportunities. I think it's really cool, especially for musicians. I mean, I'm not actively into it now, but when I get into it, my family will be taken care of, and I won't have any other priorities except that. And I think that's what I enjoy the most. Like when I was a teenager, if I was trying to do anything musically, even if I was twice as good as I think I am now, then you didn't have the time. Like you can't be getting a license and learning how to drive and meeting people and, you know, finishing school. You can't be doing the stuff you have to do and be fully focused on a passion and not miss out on things. And, you know, so I think I got a lot of the experiences out of the way of being a ruffian and being an idiot as a kid. So now I can hunker down and focus on passion and fuck around. I mean,
no more jackass level shit.
Maybe not no more. Like I still want to go skydiving 11 times.
Oh yeah.
Times with someone and once by myself, you know, and you better believe that 11th time I'll be on mushroom. So it's going to be
hell yeah.
Or I'll pass.
You better hope it's a good trip, brother, because if it's not, we're talking like, is it going to be Like a Cheech and Chong movie, or are we talking like the Wall level shit? That could
Ooh,
go
I'm
very
hoping for the
badly.
Wall personally.
Well, believe it or not, there actually has been world record was recently broken. Like the last 30 years, a guy fell from a plane with no parachute and lived. Like,
I heard something about that years ago.
learn a few things.
Bounced twice because there was a comedy routine. There was a comedian who was doing a sketch about it, and the dude fell out of an airplane, bounced not once but twice, and lived. And I remember that in particular because the line went something like, "Just like a bad late night TV commercial, but wait, there's more." You've already pretty much broken every bone in your body. Most excruciating pain ever after a terrifying drop, and you see the earth coming up. Oh, but wait, there's more.
No, I know. I used to love the idiot joke. Like, you don't need a parachute to skydive. You need a parachute to sky.
Yes. Right?
I always thought that was a good kick in the balls. Like, you got
That's so good.
me. But yeah, no, you just why don't you tell the good people like what platforms they can find your music on, and below the video all your links will be there. We'll reach out and
Yeah, absolutely. So sleepcircleband.com, Facebook, Sleep Circle, Instagram, Sleep Circle Band. We might be just Sleep Circle on there. We have the Twitter too. Sometimes my new thing is it's called Drinkstagramming. So I like to get blasted and then go on Instagram and just comment on all kinds of shit. Like the other day, I was like trying to get Charmin to do a collab with us. I'm like, I want custom Sleep Circle branded toilet paper. Sky's the fucking limit.
no.
But so far not successful. So if anybody listening to this podcast video in the future wants to endorse Sleep Circle, I don't give a fuck what your company is. We'll take it as long as it's not racist or transphobic
It
or,
looks like
or anything like that. Hell yeah, brother. That's the cover of Strange Life right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome cover, by the way. I like crows. I like crows.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no,
That was actually done by a gentleman in the States. He works at oh God, I wish I remembered his name before I brought this up, but you know what? He's an American, and that's all I can remember.
No, it's all. And yeah, no, I mean, sky's the limit with being a musician, and we're starting to do live shows. So maybe in the future, sometime we could, I'll get, you guys to come on and play some songs live or something, and we'll do.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like we've got we're working on getting some camera and live streaming gear in our rehearsal space. So yeah, let's keep in touch because we would love to do that. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, if we can be of any, me and Topher here learned a lot about how to, make quality a little bit, tweaking and stuff, doing the show. So help out, feel free to reach out. But yeah, Topher, if you get anything to plug, by all means.
Well, not really, my Instagram, but just kind of to go along with all that, Jake. I'm getting ready to start doing some live stuff on Instagram, some Instagram live, and little guest spots would be awesome. Musicians, we can definitely something like that is mutually beneficial.
Absolutely.
As well as, just kind of like this, you can plug your stuff, plug your music, play a little bit, whatever.
Just hang around and chat. Yeah.
Shoot the shit. Have your fans be able to get to know you better.
Totally. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you both for doing this and having me be a part of it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no
problem. Anytime.
That like you said earlier, the whole Reddit, that podcast guest exchange is just awesome. Ever since we started the show, I mean, I found professional guest websites, and I mean, there's Facebook and there's word of mouth, and there's all sorts of ways. But to be able to post something on Monday and then check it Friday and 5 people comment, or no one comment, it's cool. It's like you put out a net and there's feasibly no effort. Like I'm typing it, taking a deuce, and then I think, and I'm off with my life. And then I can check it later. You meet some cool people, so I'm happy to have you on, and cool to hear about your music. Everyone, please check out his socials. They will be beneath the episode, right on top. Check out his Instagram and any other links we have below the show. So thank you very much, and everyone have a good night.
Oh,
Peace.
thank you.